Hey, sorry, yeah, I just saw your comment come in, but I was just about to start. How do you transfer AxeFX3 presets to the FM9? Yeah, all you do in Edit is you go to the preset you want to send over, and you do Export Preset. You do this, and like a typical save dialog will come up. Where do you want to save it? So save the preset file on your computer. Hey, what's up? From Facebook. We got YouTube and Facebook tuning in. I'm streaming to Twitch as well. But yeah, you go to Preset, Export Preset, and then save that to your computer. Then on FM9, you just simply drag and drop that preset file right on this name area, and it'll go on to the FM9 or the FM3. Just keep in mind there's less CPU on the FM9, so make sure on your AxeFX you kind of want to get the CPU down a bit, because sometimes it won't transfer if there's way too much CPU, you know, in the AxeFX version of the preset. Blocks might be missing because the FM9 doesn't have it. So just try it out, see what happens, and then you just gotta adjust from there. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a preset, go to Preset, Export, like we just did, I showed, and yeah, super easy. Then you drag it over, just drag and drop from like the folder or whatever right onto this area here, and it'll start to load it. So make sure on the FM9 when you drag it over, like you want to replace what's there. So go to a blank preset or something first, of course. But once you drop it there, if it doesn't work or it doesn't look right, then I go back to my Axe Edit. I adjust that preset a little bit, or I'll save it. So one thing you might want to do is this: save to new preset number first. I do this all the time, and just choose an empty slot or whatever, and then work on that there so you don't like mess up your Axe 3 version. So we can go to like 450, make sure it's blank, of course, and then be like AFT for FM9, you know, whatever the preset is called, and then save it, and then work on this preset, this copy of it, export that, and you know, just whittle away. So I know on this one there's this plex delay won't work, so I'll have to delete that, and I'll delete this, and you know, this and that to get it over to the FM9. And then from there, so it's a little bit of trial and error, just because you're coming from a lot of CPU to something with a little less, and you want to just make sure it eventually works. So yeah. Is there a way to bypass multiple effects blocks with a single? Yeah, no problem, Gary. Multiple effects blocks with a single switch press without using scenes? The short answer is no. You can use a control switch. Well, first of all, are you using a MIDI controller or like the FC controller or like one of the onboard switches on an FM3 or something? If it's a MIDI controller, you can probably just set the FM9. Oh, on the FM9. Okay, cool. So I have an FM3 on camera here. My FM9's above all this, but I put this here so we can look at the buttons. But so again, short answer is no. If you make one of these a control switch, it gets kind of iffy because you can attach a control switch to multiple bypass controls here. Sorry, there's a lot of noise in the back, but control switch 1 will now turn on and off. Yeah, that's what we want. Whatever I just did, reverb, for example. So actually, let me bring up FM3 Edit so we can hopefully see if it works. I have my audio going through the Axe 3. But yeah, one sec. Let me make sure this is going. Okay, so here's FM3. So same thing, I'm just using the FM3 because it's on camera. So let me set this up real quick. I haven't done this in a while, but let me just make sure this works. But yeah, short answer is no. That's what scenes were made to do. That is pretty much the reason why scenes were made, so you could press one button and switch multiple things. But I do understand the request, but yeah, the short answer is no. But let me just clear this real quick. So let's do control switch 5 just in case. Let me turn the music back on. My play button doesn't work, apparently. Okay, just for some background other noise. So we're going to use control switch 5. So let's go here and let's test it out. Let's see if it works. So let's assign the bypass parameter to control switch 5. It's in a different order here. No, it's over here. Okay. Control switch 5. And let's turn this delay on with control switch 5. I keep forgetting where it is. Let's just try that. Let's see if that works. So I have a control switch on here, right? Let's just see what happens. So yeah. Oh, did I make it momentary? I think I did. I did. We needed latching. But it worked. Let me see. So yeah, I'm pressing one switch and turning. You can see that both delay blocks. I'll put this filter as well. Whoops. So what I'm doing is it's a standard modifier thing. You right click on it in edit anyway, and you go to your source and you assign it to control switch 5. And now these 3 blocks should turn on and off when I press this switch. So yeah, that's one way to do it. But that kind of limits you because from there, from there, I don't know if you can just turn one on with a switch. Maybe you can. No, yeah, you can't. So that's the caveat, I guess, is now those 3 blocks only change from that switch. Let me try a delay 1 switch specifically and just see what happens. But yeah, if you're always changing those things together in that preset, it could work for you. Yeah, that's the thing. They're tied together. Let me just double check that again. I haven't done this in a while. But let's see. So I have a it won't work because we've overridden like any other type of control. The modifier takes control of everything. So yeah, it's a bit of a trade-off there. Again, scenes were the solution for that. I want to change multiple things at a time with one button. That's what scenes were designed to do. So from there, from there, it's like, we can do these sorts of tricks, sort of like, attach a modifier to the bypass. There might be another way. I'm not thinking of it right now. Maybe search the Fractal forum, like just do a search on the forum for something like that. There might be another way that someone figured out, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, totally understand. I think this is the only way, but I could be wrong. But I think this is the only way. Can an FC switch send multiple MIDI messages? Let me double check on its MIDI capabilities. So first of all, the FC doesn't have any MIDI on it. It only connects with an XLR cable, to your AxeFX or whatever, or on the FM9, FM3. It has MIDI out, but like the switches themselves aren't MIDI. Let me open up FM9 and double check something. I'm going to pull it off screen real quick. Does this have a MIDI block? I forgot. It does. Does the FM3 have a MIDI block? It does. Okay, they all have MIDI blocks. So, so this is the AxeFX, AxeEdit, and I was using this MIDI block. Yeah, I think they're working on it. I think it got to the FM3 for scene ignore, and then they're gonna, make sure it all works there, and then put it over. But yeah, back on the Axe3, all 3 units have it. But hold on, let me close this. You can change this MIDI block. Will send different commands on when you change scenes. So that's the only way that I can think of right now to send multiple MIDI messages is when you change scenes. Yeah, the Axe and stuff like the FM and AxeFX, they aren't like necessarily MIDI controllers. Like they aren't like the central unit to push MIDI out. But that's driven by scenes as well. Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's another way. Like on the AX8, the previous generation, there was a MIDI block that you could press, like a foot switch, and it would do it. I've been doing this I've used so much gear. It's all melding together. So I think this one is only scenes. Pretty sure. I don't think there's like a MIDI button other than a scene. Can I drag this to perform? That'd be funny. No. Okay. Yeah, so scenes are definitely like the driver of many things. Presets, of course, first off, gotta go to a preset for that. But like scenes kind of became the catalyst for other things. Maybe time for wish list. Yeah, for sure. Again, I didn't actually sleep last night. I stayed up all night. I don't know why. So I'm a little foggy on it. I'm pretty sure there's no like payload button for this MIDI stuff. Yeah, I think it's driven by scenes. I could pull up. Let me scan the Fractal Blocks guide real quick, because I like to know what I'm talking about. And so it's funny, I teach, you know, this, but I learn by teaching too. I think anyone who's ever taught things, it's a very common thing. Is there no MIDI block on here? But yeah, like looking things up. Bigger shoes. Yeah, hit multiple things. Oh, scene MIDI block. Okay, see, they even call it in the... I'll show you real quick. Oops, wrong button. They call it the scene MIDI block. So it is a scene MIDI block and not like a MIDI payload button block. Interesting. Yeah, so I used it to send... What did I do with this? Oh, when I changed scenes in another setup, which I don't do anymore, I had my second camera here on me when I was playing guitar, and when I went to any of my lead scenes, it would send a signal to OBS to change cameras, the streaming software, and on the lead scene it would like show just the guitar, and then when I go back to singing it would change back to this view. So things like that, but yeah, definitely scene driven. So yep, good to know. Yeah, it was kind of a pain to set up, and that's why I don't do it anymore. You need like a MIDI cable going to the computer, so I need a USB MIDI interface, that's not a big problem, but I just had so many cables at the time. I just stripped down the setup and there's way less cable, so maybe I can do it again. But yeah, that was kind of cool. So the MIDI would go out, or did I do it over USB? I don't remember, something like that. Either way, I think this goes out of the MIDI jack specifically. I think it goes out of the MIDI jack. Anyway, I did that, so that was kind of fun. So yeah, it's interesting. I think the FC controllers and like the onboard foot switches for the FMs, of course, they do a lot, but they do tend to stick to just Fractal stuff. I remembered. I remembered. Control switches. Hello. Sorry. See, like I said, I didn't sleep. Control switches can do it. I was like, there's something else. I'm so sorry, Kevin, if you're still here. Control switches, the thing we just looked at. So we can go to control switch 5. I don't have any MIDI things plugged in, but you can enable it. I totally use this for an iPad looper. So silly. Hey, so yes, you can use a control switch. So in edit, here's your main screen. Go to FC edit. It's called that now. And then go to CS MIDI, control switch MIDI. Ugh. You click that, choose the control switch that you've set up. I knew there was something else. And you can do CC or PC commands. So PC on what channel, what number, you know, that sort of stuff. CC number, you know, 34, value of 127. So it's a bit of a pain. You got to type them all out, or you can use the front panel to do this and like roll the value dial and stuff like that. But you can set up to 4 messages per control switch. So as long as you're not using it for too many other things, control switches, you have some. There's 6 available, right? Designations, and then you choose what switch you put. Yes, CS MIDI. That's what that is. So the MIDI block is for scenes, and the control switch MIDI is for sending multiple messages if you want 35. You know, and then it's on and off, so it's either momentary or latching. Probably want to do latching. But yeah, that's how you do that. Oh, man. I'm like, at the back of my mind, I'm like, I know there's a way, but it's not coming to me. So yeah, again, it's in FC Edit, hit that, and then it's CS MIDI. And on the front panels, it is in Setup, FC, here, I'll zoom in, and right there, CS MIDI. Might not be possible to send a couple of MIDI messages from the FM9. Yeah, I think some people did that. I think that's what I was trying to remember that someone did on the forum, but I could, the control switch was missing in my mind. So that might work. I don't know if it makes a loop, a feedback loop for MIDI. I don't think it does, but yeah, you could try it. Maybe search that control switch MIDI out or something on the forum. It might pop up. But also remember that you have to, I'm sure you know this, but you have to set up then your MIDI, all your bypass things to certain CC numbers, right? So just make sure you set that up first, since that's what it'll be listening to. And yeah, that might work. A MIDI cable plugged into itself to control it. That might just do it. But yes. Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure I've seen that on the forum. So maybe give it a quick search. I'm pretty sure someone confirmed yes or no, and I think it worked. So yeah, take a look at that. Cool. There we go. Is there a way to back up all my presets in one file, not save? Yeah. Not to save manually every preset, to save the whole thing. So if you mean like everything here, like all of this in one file, I think it'll split it up into a few files, because they group them in what they call banks of 128. So 0 through 127 is one bank. That's bank A, and so on. So it'll be a few files, not one big one. But yes, if you're in Edit, this is the same for all the gear, the third generation. Go to Tools, Fractal Bot, and go to Receive Mode. And first you select where it would save, then you just hit Begin, and then just make sure Backup the AxeFX is checked. It'll save everything, all your preset banks. And I'm using a turbo, so there's like a ton, which I'll never use, but all your user cabs, all your presets. So this one will have all these separate files, but at least it's not like 500 individual files. Then when you want to load it back in, you go to Send Mode and you just drag that file here. I actually have a video on backing up presets, or backing up your AxeFX and like loading new firmware. So that's on this YouTube channel. Yep, you're from YouTube. On this YouTube channel, look for like backing up and upgrading firmware. I show it how to do that. But yeah, you want to use Fractal Bot for that. Now it's built into the editors. So you just go there and receive. You want to receive a file. Or you could use the standalone, but just don't use both at the same time. If you use this one, yes, it works. But yeah, Fractal Bot is your answer for that one.